Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week number 2 of ESL's Legendary Series. My name is TJ Osmo QD Sanders, and today joining me once again is Hearthstone's resident Twitch chat moderator, Milkcast.
That's me. Yeah, we have a great lineup of matches today. 8 players competing in a best-of-5 single elimination bracket. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a good show. We just yesterday we casted the Open Finals where we saw Max and Frase. I think two players from the UK actually make it through to today's series. So this is all leading up to a $20,000 LAN final on February 21st, 22nd. But for today, pretty much the format is we invited 4 players we think are good. 2 players we saw yesterday qualify through the open bracket. And then in addition to that, we had the 2 winners from last week. That's Chalky and Pin Ping Ho from Taiwan, actually. Yeah,
they had some great matches last weekend as well. And, of course, the 4 invited players will be Dart, D2 from iHeartU. We saw him at the World Championships. I believe he had a top 4 finish.
Yeah, round of 4 all the way.
Yeah, and then we have Blackout from Team Dignitas, also a player coming from the UK as well.
Yeah, 3 people from the UK competing in today's match.
Yeah, and then rounding off with Noxious of Team Complexity. You guys might know him. Pretty popular streamer, known for making some really creative decks.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his Rogue.
Yeah,
we see some of that today.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Yeah. So the format for today's match is pretty much these guys are going to bring 3 decks each. They put them in a random order and just go head-to-head. After those first 3 games, if the best-of-5 is still continuing, then they have to blind pick. But by that point, they've already seen their opponent's decks, and their opponents have seen their decks. Oh, and it looks like we're ready for match number 1. It's going to be Frase versus Dart. So they're down at the bottom. You can see the decks that these guys have brought.
Yep. And you can also see the matchup that they were going up against. You said it's a predetermined list, so there's no counter picks in this. You basically have to take 3 solid decks into this tournament that you know have a high win rate against a lot of things. And so in a way, it's very similar to Ladder, and it forces players, you said it yesterday, to not be greedy with their deck building, not put in tech just to counter specific decks, but make sure that they have 3 great all-around decks that they think will fare a lot well against a lot of classes.
Yeah, so it is going to be Shaman versus Warlock in match number 1 between these guys. I do want to point out, though, later on in this match, we're going to get to see Frase's Warrior again. We saw a really great matchup yesterday in the Open Finals. I think that this guy, part of the nature of this format is that decks aren't banned and decks aren't eliminated.
Yeah.
So a player like Frase, who does a really good job with Warrior, he could take the whole set with just off the back of his Warrior. But here we go into game 1. Oh, it is going to be. Look at that start. The Undertaker, the Leper Gnome, and the Mad Scientist in the starting hand of Dart.
That's a Hunter start if I've ever seen one. Yeah. So that should be pretty explosive turn 1, turn 2.
Turn 1, turn 2.
Maybe even turn 3. Maybe we'll even get an explosive turn 4.
Who knows, man? That's what hunters like to do. They like to explode their way through the early stages of the game. He does also have the coin, which is big in that matchup, dropping the Undertaker and coining out a Leper Gnome. Really solid start here for Dart.
Yeah, and Frase, you can see right away he doesn't find an answer to really anything. The Hunter Creeper is a pretty good 2-drop, and I would actually say that this matchup is pretty favored for the Shaman. Of course, Hunter, it's probably one of the reasons why Dart is picking this as his first deck.
Yeah,
can win against anything at any time. Their worst matchup is like 50%, so it's never really a bad thing. And
and look at that start from Dart as well. He gets a second lever. Oh, and he gets a second Undertaker. Oh,
wow. Double Undertaker turn 1, double Leper Gnome turn 2. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask? Well, I know what you could ask for is a Mad Scientist to follow it up on
turn 3.
Oh, a
Mad Scientist to follow it up on turn 3. Maybe even a Web Spinner.
Maybe.
Then you have 2 5/6s on the board. Right. That could happen.
If he gets that Web Spinner draw next turn or the turn after, I think Frase might just say, all right, Dart.
Yeah.
You had your fun.
You win.
You win. Although, keep in mind, a class like Shaman, you can often get down those lightning storms or something like that, really clear off a early aggressive board.
Yeah.
But Dart's happy.
Yeah, that really hurts right there, though, to put out just a Haunted Creeper against 2 Undertakers that you know are just going to get buffed up.
Look at Dart's face, man. He's showboating for the camera. He's just like, oh, I don't know what to say.
Yep. Well, what can you do?
Yep. 2, 3, 4s on turn 2. I'll take it.
If the cards come to you, you might as well play them. I was going to get really philosophical there, but
I could see it in your eyes.
I lost my direction halfway through.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, though. I mean, one draw from the Shaman, just one Lightning Storm or something like that. As long as these Undertakers don't get any bigger, and he's still got a chance.
Yeah, a wise man once told me that when you're playing Hunter, you want to act like their face has taunt.
Who was that wise man?
It might have been Dart.
It might have been Dart.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly, with putting that damage down, I mean, this could be like a 4 or 5 turn game.
Yeah. See, this is really painful right here. Having to use a Hex on the Undertaker, just because the Undertaker, there's so many things that you can use to remove it, and you want to save those Hexes for the inevitable Savannah High Mains that are, are going to come later in the game. Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. Speak of the high main. Does pop that flare just to cycle through. Gets a Knife Juggler, another great 2-drop, but I think he's just going to, there we go. He wants that 4-5 on turn 4.
Yeah.
It's a Yeti.
And, I mean, you remember what that wise man told me.
Yeah.
That face has taunt.
That face has got taunt. Who even cares about a creeper?
Yeah. Well, the
Spooky
creeper,
spiders.
by killing the creeper, you're virtually giving your opponent an additional power on the board, so.
That lava burst is going to hurt so bad if he has to pop that on turn 4.
Yeah.
It's effectively like a 5-mana card, right? Overloads for 2, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it does overload for 2. It can really hurt to play it, especially to clear a creature that starts as a 1/2.
Yeah.
But he is going to be able to clear a little bit of the board here. I'm not sure what he's going to Earthshock. He could clear one of the Leper Gnomes, but I think he's thinking about whether or not he wants to Earthshock the Mad Scientist, and clearing that. He'd still be left with the 2/1 Spectral Spiders that would trade into the, it looks like that's probably the better choice here. Denying that secret is a pretty big deal, because that secret can just provide so much more tempo, especially since if he doesn't clear it and then he gets a secret next turn, it's like a Snake Trap. He's got a Knife Juggler in his hand as well.
That'd be rough.
He's getting to the dangerous levels of health.
Oh, wow, but there we go. Goes for the Leper Gnome.
Yeah.
I guess going to hope that those 2 tokens can clear this Scientist next turn.
Yep. This does more in avoiding more damage,
Yeah.
which being at 16 health probably might be
not a bad call. I mean, right now you just have to think about cards like Kill Command or something.
He's at 14 health. It's turn 4.
That is rough.
He doesn't even have enough mana to lay that Savannah High Main. He's
That
got a
is really
really
rough.
great curve here, though.
Yeah. Turn 5, Lothep. Turn 6, High Main. Yes, please.
Couldn't ask for more.
Couldn't ask for
Well,
more.
actually, you could ask for more. Maybe Undertaker.
Yeah,
double Undertaker, double Leper
exactly.
Gnome.
Yeah, Dart literally could not ask for more here.
Yeah.
Goes ahead and clears off one of those 1/1 tokens just to keep that Knife Juggler up. At this point, he's saying, nah. He's, you never see a Shaman heal or anything like that. I did once get a Shaman down to 1 health as Hunter and say, all right, I got this, and he played Alex Straza.
Wow.
But
that's pretty rare.
it's pretty rare. For the most part, Dart's just thinking, as long as I keep just a couple minions on the board, a couple hero powers, 3-4 turns later, game's mine.
Dart wearing his lucky canary yellow shirt.
Canary yellow.
And Frase still looking exactly the same way as he looked yesterday.
Ooh, a Hunter's Mark. He could get lucky with this juggle.
Yeah.
It's an interesting card to see in a deck like this, though. You don't always see the Hunter's Marks.
Yeah, some people will run 2. Some people will be really bold and run 1.
Dart's not happy. Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm so unlucky.
Oh, no, I've gone face whole game, and one of the Knife Juggles hit his face.
Did we actually see what trap that was, though? If that's Snake Trap, he has very good odds to go ahead. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And it is a lightning a lightning bolt.
Yeah, too bad he can't play it, though, and I believe he...
Oh, here we go, the juggles.
Yeah.
All right, 3 juggles. One of them...
If one of them hits face...
If it, pretty much anything but the Drake... Oh, there we go. Clears that Unbound Elemental.
Yeah.
There's a face.
And judging by Dart's reaction, that's probably a face. Nope.
Oh, I'm so unlucky.
Well, it looks like the game 1. That's going to be a really quick victory over to Dart. Wow. And the good thing about this format for Frase, though, is that at least for now, he doesn't have to face the Hunter anymore. These decks are predetermined.
That's true.
There's no last deck standing, so the next match is just 2 brand new decks from these guys. But Dart, that's a really quick lead that he jumped out to.
That board, man. That's the kind of board that I would love to see as a Hunter player on like turn 8.
Is Dart BMing?
Oh, Frase. Nah, Frase is playing it cool. Look at him. Yeah, you have your fun. I wanted to drink this glass of water anyway. I'll give you a couple minutes to go ahead and BM me here.
I'm just going to hydrate.
Yeah. Look at him. He's smiling. Oh, I love this guy. We were joking about webcam loops yesterday.
Thank you for giving me a chance to drink my water.
Yeah. We were talking about webcam loops yesterday and how some of these guys, they look like they don't even change their facial expressions. Frase He was looking like that throughout the entire Open Series. He was just all smiles, having a great time.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, I mean, I would be having a great time if I was Frase, too, because he won the whole thing yesterday.
He did. Yeah,
I believe it was like 3-1 every series, so pretty dominating performance.
Yep. So we are getting ready to go into game number 2. I think this might be the game that he ordered his Warrior as his deck selection, and I can't wait because that deck was – oh, it's the Warlock. He's going to show off his – Dart bringing a Rogue, though. Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be a Miracle Rogue or?
Almost certain that it's going to be a Miracle Rogue.
Almost certain it's going to be a Miracle Rogue.
The Backspace Rogue we haven't seen in a long time. There's a lot of different variations of Miracle Rogue, though. In fact, there's just so many different tech cards that you put in. There's Miracle Rogue that runs like Cold Light Oracles, and there's Miracle decks that run Violet Teachers. There's Malagos Rogue.
There's the Teray style, which runs that Sprint and that Alexstrasza.
Yeah, the Alexstrasza. There's also the South Sea Deckhand that Firebat was running at the World Championships.
Yeah,
there's also the Arcane Golem.
Ooh, I like that one too.
There's like 50
different rogues.
Yeah.
And I think we did see him play Zoo yesterday. That's Frase.
Yeah.
I think his Warlock was a Zoo yesterday. He can switch it up between the Open Finals and today's set of matches.
Yeah.
But we'll see in just a second. Oh, yeah. Voidwalker, definitely going to be a Zoo from Frase.
Yeah. Or a very next-level handlock.
Yeah. Oh, next level. Deck Tech. All right, and there's that Arcane Golem you were talking about as well. Oh, and a Sinister Strike, too.
Yeah, this is a really interesting deck. Usually Sinister Strikes are run in the Malagos Rogue a lot of the times. But you don't usually have room to put in the Arcane Golem when you're running that. But who knows? We'll have to see what's in store for the rest of this deck that Dart is running. Miracle Rogue really needs a great start against Zoo. They need to really be able to control and keep the board clear in the early turns to be able to have much of a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as well. The Violet Teacher, I feel, is a very good card against Zoo.
Yeah.
It's pretty beefy for a low amount of health. For a low amount of mana. You can play it on turn 4 and then just put down a 5 health body, which can deal with some of those, Void Walkers and stuff like that.
And then you can usually, as the Miracle Rogue, you can be pretty aggressive with your preps and a lot of those spells earlier on, even with the Violet Teacher, just because you need to be able to keep the board as clear as possible, or else you could end up losing very quickly.
Yeah. Speaking of good starts, though, last time around, Dart got those 2/1/2s and the two Leper Gnomes. This time around, Frase has got pretty much an equally good start, I would argue.
Yeah.
Lots of 1-drops, lots of 2-drops. Doesn't get those Doom Guards, doesn't get those Soulfires that you don't want to see as a Zoo.
This is a tough decision right here. He can just put out the Voidwalker, or he can coin out the Haunted Creeper. Or he can coin out both Voidwalkers.
Double Voidwalker.
Yeah, this is pretty good because he'll protect whatever he's going to lay on turn 2 no matter what. Because there's nothing that can be able to clear 2/1/3s on turn 2 here. He can set up for a Deadly Poison or a Blade Flurry, but getting the Blade Flurry to only kill a couple of creatures is exactly what the Zoolock wants, because that's some of the limited AoE damage that the Rogues actually pack in those decks.
Yeah, and not the strongest start for Dart, unfortunately. It looks like he's just going to have to weapon up and maybe just ram that weapon into these 1/3s. He could backstab a Voidwalker, but that just feels so weak.
Yeah, he could clear one of these Voidwalkers here, but I'm not sure if he's going to.
Maybe just bide time for that Deadly Poison draw next turn.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
I don't think you backstab at all here. I think this is the right call here from Dart. Still, though, it's looking pretty rough for him. I mean, next turn he can... Well, no. He just doesn't really have many good plays lined up. He's got the Auctioneer, so once he does hit that turn 5, turn 6, he can start maybe drawing into his deck. But usually by that point, if you don't have a good start as a Rogue, by the time you get to that Auctioneer and start cycling through your spells, sometimes it's just too late.
Yeah. I wonder, is he going to drop the Egg or is he going to drop the Creeper? I'm not gonna make the call here on which one's better, but it's two interesting, different directions. You could drop the Creeper and maybe just hope that 1 damage builds up over time, or you could kind of say, yeah, Egg, I got the Abusive Sergeant in hand.
Yeah.
If he plays any minion, I can go ahead and get that 4/4.
I like the Haunted Creeper here just because the Egg is usually more of an anti-AoE measure. You want to be able to protect the minions that you have on your board, because you know that if your opponent tries to AoE down your board, like with a Blade Flurry, then you're still going to be left with at least a 4/4. So if he sees a Deadly Poison come out here, then the Egg would be an easy choice. But since he didn't see anything, he didn't see any ways of moves, he wants to get the additional power on the board.
Yeah. Such a rough turn, though, for him. Like, what do you even do here? Backstab Van Cleef?
Yeah,
I guess you could Van Cleef Shadow Step, and that would just mean, one. Ooh,
ouch.
that is so rough. Sapping a 1-2.
Brutal.
Oh, and Frase likes it. He's smiling
He's
and nodding.
digging
He's
it.
having a good time. Oh, thanks. Thanks, I wanted that. All right, puts down the creeper instead. Great looking curve as well. That Lotheb in the hand early for Frase.
Yeah.
That's a really strong card, obviously, against against Miracle.
Yeah.
Going to be able to. It's like Dart just drops the Gadget's End and is feeling, all these 0 mana spells in his hand. The backstab, the Shadow Step, the Cold Blood, the deadly poison. They're so good. And then Lotheb comes out, and you're like, ah.
And then you just lose the next turn because he's got too big of a board.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be able to do, like, 1 Cold Blood.
Yeah. Cold Blood the Lotheb.
Shadow. Yeah, exactly.
He could get an 8/8 here. Backstab, clear one of the Voidwalkers, Van Cleef, then Shadow Step the Van Cleef, then replay the Van Cleef.
Whoa. Slow down.
It's 3 cards for an 8/8.
Yeah.
But an 8/8 is pretty good. But if your opponent has an owl, then it's just bad.
Right. Or I like to think that that Zoo often finds ways to deal 8 damage.
Yeah.
Like Abusive Sergeant down on the Golem here, and then a Soulfire to the 8/8.
Yeah.
Really effective way to clear some of those big minions. We talked about this yesterday during the Open Qualifiers. Zoo is something of a control deck.
Yeah,
it's
board control, yeah.
It's very focused on board control. You got all these cheap minions where you can say, oh yeah, 8/8, no problem. 2 cards, 3 cards.
Yeah, or just say, you know what, screw your 8/8, I'm going face.
I'm going face.
Which most of the time is surprisingly the right choice.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really, well, okay. This is where he wants to play the egg, just because if a Blade Flurry comes out, he's still going to be left with the 4/4.
Good insurance against AoE, yeah.
Some people would say, well, Argus plays on curve, but I'm
what
not
does it
sure
get
if I
you?
like the Argus. The Argus would be really hard to clear, but at the same time, like a Blood Mage Thalnos Blade Flurry would clear your whole board.
Right.
So this play, I like it better. It protects him against the AoE, and also he's able to trade effectively. So even if there's a Blade Flurry that comes out, he's going to force 2 cards to clear that 1 egg. He would need a Blade Flurry and like an Eviscerate or something like that.
Yeah. That Gadget's End, though.
Yeah, this is going to be... I'm not sure if he's going to Shadow Step this or not to protect it or just keep that body on the board. He's not really getting into dangerous levels of health, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, prep there would have been the only card that would keep this line of play going. But
yeah. Oh, and he draws the Conceal right after.
That's pretty good, though. He wouldn't have been able to play that turn anyway, so now he has a 3-mana Gadget's End and the Conceal to keep it safe from anything but an AoE board clear.
Yeah.
And Zoo, when was the last time you saw a Zoo with, like, Spell Power Hellfire to kill a 4/4?
Yeah. But, Charles, look, we got the Lotheb here.
Oh, here it comes.
So this is going to stop a lot of that aggression. If he's going to play the Gadget's End on this turn, then he's not going to really be able to do much else besides maybe even weapon up. So I like the Lotheb play here. Probably the correct play. And you can't really sap a Lotheb. I mean, he wouldn't be able to sap it anyway because it would cost 7 mana, but...
I did that once.
A 7-mana sap on a Lotheb?
No, not the turn it was played, but the next turn I was like, I got to get this body off the board. Came back down the next turn for 5 mana. I was like, all right, I'm never playing Miracle Rogue again.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. Yeah, sadly, he's just going to have to eat that 5 damage to the face.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. And he doesn't want to play the Auctioneer here because it'll just die for free.
Yep.
So we just got to hope that next turn he draws into some of those preps.
Yeah.
Gets a really big spell chain going on.
We see that Cold Blood in hand, and we did see the Arcane Golem earlier on. I don't know exactly how much damage Dart's hoping to do from the hand, but it is possible that maybe this is one of those OTK Rogue decks.
Yeah.
And, maybe 2 turns from now, Frase is going to feel really confident. He's got the 5/5 on the board. He's got everything he wants, but then all of a sudden, here comes 18 damage from Dart's hand.
Yeah. Well, he already used one of his Shadow Steps, though, which is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Frase, he hasn't life tapped once this game.
He has 30 health.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Very surprising thing coming from a Zoolog, but his curve has just been pretty solid this whole game. He hasn't really had to dig for answers through his deck. He's had not the greatest start, but it's been a pretty solid start.
Good draws for sure. I really like this Lotheb and Zoo as well. I feel like when you fall behind a Zoo, a lot of the reason why is you get like a Holy Nova, or you finally build a really nice board you're happy with, and then all of a sudden some big AoE removal comes out. that Lotheb seems to really have secured Phrase's board position in this game. Oh, and
wow.
a Cold Light Oracle.
Okay. So really looking to dig for answers. Now I'm curious to see what else is in this deck.
Yeah. But that Cold Light Oracle, I think that is not a card that he wants to see in this matchup. I once tried to make a mill, I think it was either a mill rogue or a mill druid. When you play against Zoo, you're just like, yeah, here, have some more 2-drops. Have some more 3-drops. We talked about how Frase hasn't tapped once in this game. Oh, with that Cold Light Oracle, it's just like, you won't have to.
Yeah.
Dart's going to be giving him cards.
All right, well, he does draw into the preparation, but
oh, second Cold Light
this
Oracle.
is not
That's
something
not what
that
Dar
you
wants
want
to
to
see.
happen, especially with the gadgets hand on the board. You want to draw into spells.
There's a spell. The
Yeah.
first damage to his face. And
If
he's
you-
at 11 health. That is rough.
And this Fan of Knives isn't even that good because he's not going to clear anything off the board.
And even if we were to like clear that creeper or something, it just puts extra power onto the
Yeah.
board.
Hey,
Completely useless.
if you got that second Argus, I'm going to give you a good opportunity to use it.
You know?
And here we go. Doesn't draw into anything good. Look at
really
this
unlucky
hand. It's
draws
full of
here.
creatures.
Yeah.
That's not what he wants at this point.
Yep.
And Frase is talking to himself.
8 power on board. He only needs 3. He has 2 in hand from the Direwolf Alpha. So he is 1 damage off lethal right here. Can he draw into something good? He can tap into both a Doomguard and a Soulfire this turn.
Yeah, he hasn't drawn either
He
of those.
hasn't drawn either. He's thinking it through, though.
Wha-
He doesn't want, now that he knows that this is where, oh,
Wow.
1 juggle to face, it's 50-50. Well,
No, he's got
actually, no,
2
he's got
creatures
yeah,
here.
he does. Wait, if he drops the Direwolf Alpha and it doesn't go face, he's still got a second chance with either the Gnome or the Imp.
Yep, here
Is
we
he
go.
going to get it?
All he needs is 1.
Oh, and that's
there it
lethal,
is.
Dart. Oh, Dart. Look at Dart's reaction to
Wow.
that play.
He is devastated.
Oh, that is rough.
Yeah. 1 juggle to the face. I guess that makes up for the double Undertaker turn 2
Fraser's
double
thinking,
Leper Gnome.
hey, man, you got the Undertaker Leper Gnome. We're now even as far as draws and luck goes.
Yeah, and also even in the series as they tie it up 1-1, so that guarantees that at least a little bit later on in the series we'll go to at least one of those blind pick matches. But we still have one more predetermined set left, and I believe it was bringing out Phrase's Warrior.
The warrior that we love to see.
We do.
So we'll see what Dart's third and final deck, I guess, is. Remember, guys, once we go to that blind pick stage, there are no eliminations, there are no bans, so these guys can replay some of these decks. But for now, they're locked into that Warrior Warlock. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if it's Handlock or Zoo, but what do you think about either matchup? We know it's Control Warrior.
Yeah, Zoo is usually favored against that Control Warrior, just because a lot of the times you really need the timely removal. You need a very good starting hand, and you're mostly going to rely a lot on the Brawl to be able to clear that Zoo board at least once to sort of reset the match. And but we all know that once Control Warrior stabilizes, if they have that early removal, if they're able to stabilize at any point in the game, it can be pretty hard to close out the game. So I would say that Zoo was favored, but I would put it at probably a 60-40.
Yeah, well, in the final match of yesterday's Open Series, we saw Frase drop down to just 1 health against a Hunter.
Yeah.
And then came, by the end of that match, he was at like
16 armor,
16 armor or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out in this game as we do get into the mulligans now. Decent opening hand, I'd say, with that Shield Slam and Armor Smith.
Yeah.
You know what? From now on, TJ, anything about Control Warrior, you're going to be the guy to say it because like I said, I'm a bit clueless when it's black magic to me.
Yeah. I actually, a lot of the times I won't even keep Shield Slam against Zoo.
Really?
It depends on like my read of the match,
Mhm.
but you really want to have Fire War Axe early on against that Zoo. You want to draw into your weapons really early.
So would you consider sending both these guys back? I mean,
well, with the Armor Smith, if I get the Armor Smith and the Shield Slam, then I'll usually keep the Shield Slam, but it's a really tough choice because sometimes that Shield Slam can sit dead in your hand.
Mhm.
Because what if you play that Armor Smith and then you never have enough armor to be able to clear one of his minions, then that Shield Slam is just a dead card. You need those weapons early on.
I'm a more simple man. Zoo I can understand. The Flame Imp and the Direwolf Alpha in your opening hand is great against Warrior. You can deal with either the Acolyte of the Pain early or the Armor Smith.
Yeah.
I think Dart's looking pretty good with these 4 cards he's got, and he's on the coin.
Yeah, so Dart just goes ahead and keeps his whole hand here. So I really like this. Even the Haunted Creeper is good because he has the Abusive Sergeant to bring that one of those Spectral Spiders or even the Haunted Creeper up to 3 attack And this is a good hand. Cruel Taskmaster is great.
Greetings.
Because Cruel Taskmaster deals really well with Leper Gnomes. And also it deals well with your Armor Smith because it allows you to gain an armor, trade even better.
Wow. That is a good start with the Voidwalker.
That's one of the ideal starts for Zlox.
Yep. Now he's going to, even if he has the Fiery War Axe, and he gets it off the top.
Wow!
He's not going to be able to take down that Flame Imp. Oh, and Dart sees it.
Top decked and wrecked.
Top decked and wrecked. Man, I love just watching Phrase's reactions whenever he gets a nice draw. He's like, oh, cool. I foresaw this. That would happen.
Yeah. The likelihood of me drawing a Fiery War Axe was pretty high.
Yeah.
So that top deck was expected.
All according to plan for Phrase. Yeah, there we go. But another swing into the face.
This is a really annoying card for Warrior to deal with, the Echoing Ooze, but at the same time, it's like the juiciest target for an Acolyte of Pain or an Armor Smith.
Or the Armor Smith.
So.
And Phrase does have that Armor Smith.
Wow.
Oh, when he gets the Brawl. That is going to be big later on.
This is a great hand. Even the Grommash is really good against Zoo because it puts a huge body on the board and it has an immediate impact, which is definitely something that you want. So maybe not good in your opening hand, but a turn 8 Grommash play is usually pretty good.
If he's got like a Voidwalker down, it's like, oh, well, thanks. You activated my Grommash's passive and I cleared your Voidwalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those those big 12 damage charge minions. It's like, there's a Voidwalker in the way, but no, not with this, not in this circumstance.
Nope.
All right, so it looks like he's gonna drop the Armor Smith and just swing into the Flame Imp.
Yep.
And now, what is Dart going to do? He could drop the Alpha between the two 1/2s and trade both into the Armor Smith.
That'd probably be the best play because he's gonna keep his
he could also
his two oozes alive as well.
He could also just drop his Sergeant and just trade one of them in. Yeah, there we go. For 4, it turned it into a 4/2. Not really playing around that AoE though. The Whirlwinds or the Death Bites coming out on turn 4.
Yeah, but usually at this point in the game, you can't really afford to play around AoEs too much. Mm-hmm. The only AoE that you're really afraid of is Brawl, and that's can't even. Yeah, you're still a turn off of that.
Yep.
You know you have Loatheb to protect your board in that case. And Death Bite, you have chances to plan around it because, of course, the AoE doesn't come until the second charge. So you can use the turn after the Death Bite's played to try and play around it as much as you can. But he's thinking about whether or not he wants to Shield Slam. Yeah. And I think that's the better play in this situation.
It takes 4 power off the board in this circumstance. Makes it a little bit more likely that Cruel Taskmaster is going to trade favorably.
And you're setting up for your future. You're investing in your board future.
Oh, nice. Phrase looks like a guy who invests in his future.
Yeah. His Hearthstone 401k.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that Shield Slam was.
Yep.
Just a nice little deposit from his employer.
I don't know what to say now. I'm trying to think of it like a joke related to like a Roth IRA. It's like, I'm not an accountant. Let's get the accountant in here. He could cast a stream with you, TJ. Me, I'm stuck.
Exciting. Hearthstone match. It's not a Hearthstone cast without a great finance joke.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Dart, man. If he drew that Dark Iron Dwarf a draw earlier, wouldn't have to tap.
Yeah, it's a pretty sticky board though.
Yeah, it is. That's true. He can get that creeper down, and then, if there's some big removal, if there's like Spell Power Whirlwind, I don't know if that's a thing in any Control Warrior deck I've seen recently, but playing around Brawl, for example, you guarantee you got the 1/1s on the board, and then you can just buff it up with a Dark Iron Dwarf next turn.
Yeah. Once upon a time, Azure Drakes used to be a part of the Control Warrior, and Whirlwinds as well. So.
Well, back in the day, Azure Drakes used to be part of everything.
Yeah, that's very true.
On turn 5, it used to be like the only minion that you'd expect to come out from their hand.
But now there's Sledge Belchers, there's Loatheb.
Loatheb. Sometimes it's nice just to drop a Loatheb on turn 5, expecting that they're then going to play a Sludge Belcher. Yeah. And you just get to trade. It's nice and easy.
Yeah.
All right, there's the Acolyte.
Gonna get to draw a card from this as well.
What's he gonna get?
Ooh, so he is running Whirlwinds. That's a really great card right now.
And interestingly enough, Dart may actually choose to sack his Haunted Creeper, the only thing he has on this board protecting him from AoE, now that he's got that Knife Juggler. You know, maybe trade the Sergeant into that Acolyte, but getting those 2 extra juggles off a Haunted Creeper when he dies in that Death Rattle spawns the 2 tokens, that's a play I like to make. I either win or lose games based off of whether or not I get that combo. It's all I do in Hearthstone.
I thought you were going to stop it right there. I either win or lose games.
Yeah. Well,
that's a statement of fact.
One day I hope to tie a game in Hearthstone. Just for the fun of it, play Hearthstone. Play Hellfire when we're both at 3 HP, just to see what would happen.
It's not very pretty. Nope. The game just crashes, breaks.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. All right, so that's going to be the Lotheb coming down. That's another good way to play around AoE.
Yep. And
this is why I lose games. Just play Juggler and look at the pretty knives.
How many juggles can I get this turn? 1?
Wow!
I'm going for
juggles. We did it. Nice Sylvanas answer here, though.
Yep.
I feel. Really take that board initiative away from Dart.
It's really the only thing he can do at this point.
Yeah,
6-mana Whirlwind is not very enticing.
It looks like he's thinking about it, though. If he were to get an Execute, I guess, next turn.
Well, there's 8 damage on the board, so in a perfect world, Dart could have lethal with a Soulfire and then a Doomguard if the Soulfire doesn't discard the Doomguard.
The dream.
He hasn't seen either yet, so could be a possibility, but he's actually going to go ahead and clear 1, so that would make him 1 off lethal, even if he had that perfect combination.
Dark Iron Dwarf. Just wondering, how is he gonna? Is he gonna have to like sack his minions in, or is he gonna go for just pray that it takes one of these? Pray it takes the ooze, the 1/1.
Or he could just flood the board and ignore it.
Actually, if he were to get rid of that Cruel Taskmaster and trade the Lotheb in. I was going to say the Knife Juggler with 2 of those minions, not a bad option either.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably just going to ignore it. In this situation, I wouldn't. Your opponent's getting to a pretty dangerous health total. So you just want to put on the pressure. You want to force your opponent to be the one who's making the trades. Because you're starting to get to the point where you're going to be getting dangerously close to lethal range. And since he hasn't drawn into a Doomguard or a Soulfire yet, then it's really likely that he's going to draw into that burst.
Yeah. He is in a pretty good spot, though. As long as there's no big AoE to execute.
The Whirlwind, yeah,
the Whirlwind Execute, this could get really ugly. If he trades into that Voidwalker with his 2/1.
And then the Whirlwind will kill his Sylvanas.
Exactly.
And he'll steal something else and he can execute right where it rains. I think he can kill the...
Oh, I was going to say...
Or he could brawl, and then he just gets whatever's left, no matter what.
Guaranteed to get something.
Yeah. His opponent only has 1 card in his hand.
That seems like a really solid way to stabilize.
Yeah.
Brawl and just armor up.
There's actually a lot of options for him here. He could even... If he's feeling bold, he can shield block, dig for answers, and then he has the shield slam for the Lotheb. He's got the Whirlwind to clean up. And in that situation, there's a possibility that he could even end up keeping his Sylvanas alive in some of these scenarios. So, with your opponent only having 1 card in his hand, you're not going to get much more value out of the brawl because you know that the most cards your opponent's going to play on any turn, next turn maybe 3.
He decides, I guess he doesn't want the Voidwalker, though. That's another interesting decision because that's pretty good insurance against the Doomguard.
Yeah, or he could just be thinking of another line of play. He might not value the brawl as much, but you're not going to find yourself in a situation where you have 5 creatures able to be removed.
Doesn't want the Juggler. Does he go for the brawl here? Yep.
Okay.
All right, ding, ding, ding. He's guaranteed to get 1 minion off the Death Rattle of Sylvanas.
Yeah. The worst case scenario would be
or not.
Sylvanas surviving because then...
Man.
Oh, he's going to trade. Completely clearing the board.
That is smart. That is smart. We've talked about it. A lot of ways to buff those minions up. Something like Power Overwhelming could have won the game there. Dart is not happy with that one.
Yeah, he's still in a great spot. I said the Grommash is a great play on turn 8 because it has an immediate effect on the board. And usually at that point, you know that your opponent's going to be top decking for answers. Yeah. Maybe not the best in this situation because being at 8 health, He's susceptible to a lot of things. Well, actually, no. He'd actually be safe.
Dart also doesn't tap there.
This is a great plan. No, he did tap it.
No, he didn't tap.
He didn't have the mana.
Yeah, he played the Harvest Golem and the Dark Iron Dwarf.
Yeah.
Decided not to reach for the Soulfire or the Doomguard.
Yeah.
He's not so concerned about dying right now. He just wants to win the game in like the next 2-3 turns because he knows this warrior is going to stabilize.
Yeah. Grommash would be the risky play here. The only thing that would kill him if is his opponent top deck a Soulfire and then can life tap into an extra amount of damage. The shield block is the safer play. He can draw for answers, but at the same time, he's not doing anything in the way of building up his board this way.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see if he decides to just shield slam that 4/4 and pass, or if he wants to get the body on the board and get rid of the chance of that Harvest Golem coming back as the 2/1.
Yeah.
Looks like he wants to go for it.
Yeah, so it seems like Frase has stabilized really nicely here. And now 15 health.
Now that he's on turn 9, Grommash into execute against a bigger minion like a Doomguard is completely possible. Oh, he's really hoping that this juggler hits the owl now. Oh, and it doesn't. That is, man, Dart just not getting some of the...
Not the greatest. He only misses 1 damage on face, basically, and has not quite as healthy of a... Okay, he can clear. Probably just go ahead and execute the...
Yeah. Execute
the Harvest Golem. Well, no, I don't know. He's at a pretty good health total, and he might want to save that execute for a Doomguard. He has not seen either Doomguard or either Soulfire so far this match.
Right. So
if I recall
he knows
correctly.
He's at 10 health right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but okay, there we go. There is no way for a Zoo to get 2 draws. The best I can think of is 4 damage from a Doomguard, 4 damage from either Power Overwhelming or Soulfire, and then Doomguard. But
Gadget and Auctioneer, tap Soulfire,
Soulfire
draw into
into
Soulfire, and then
into Power Overwhelming.
Into Power Overwhelming your Leper Gnome, and then go to face, and then it dies at the end of the turn.
That's it. After this tournament, I'm going to go make a Miracle Zoo. You've inspired me.
Zoos don't even need miracles. Let's be honest
real
here.
Let's be real. All right, so gonna go ahead and take out that Leper Gnome. Does give him it's now that he has the Armor Smith down, it's actually only 1 damage from that Death Rattle.
Yep.
Does he go for the Rag here?
I don't think so. You need to you want to armor up every turn just to increase your odds of winning, and putting in an 8/8 on the board. You want to kill that Haunter Creeper sort of on your own terms. You don't want to put it in Rag's hands.
Yep.
Because we all know that Rag's hands are made of fire.
Ooh, there's the Doomguard.
He's going to be able to play this, but there's not that much that he's going to be able to do. He has 9 damage on board. Frase has 12 health.
And again, either a Power Overwhelming or a Soulfire, in addition to this Doomguard, ends the game in favor of Dart.
Yeah, but he already tapped this turn, so...
Exactly, but he has, another turn like this, short of maybe an Alex Straza, where he's in a good position to take the game. And this is maybe going back to those earlier turns where he wasn't tapping.
Yeah.
He was playing things like the Haunted Creeper. It's definitely saved him so far. That taunt is going to be a real pain. It's denying quite a bit of damage here for Frase. Wow, is he going to go for the Armor Smith here?
Yeah. I like this idea because it's getting rid of the possibility that he'll be able to gain more life from that Armor Smith.
Yeah.
He's been through both Armor Smiths in this game, so...
What do you think about going for the Harrison Jones there with the Doomguard instead of going face? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
This is a disgusting draw here for Frase. We saw this Baron Geddon do so much work against both the Hunter and the Zoo he had, his opponents had in yesterday's matches, and I think we're going to see it here again today.
This will clear everything from the board, but leave a 4/4.
4/4. But a 4/4.
He'd still be at a total of 14 health because he'd be able to armor up after it, but the Baron Geddon would do 2 damage to himself. So...
Oh, man. You can see Dart, he does not like that Baron Geddon going down.
Yeah.
All right, that means that Dart has to find a way to draw 10 damage on this turn. And that's just not a thing.
That's 3 damage, but to himself.
That's even worse.
Yeah, it looks like... well, actually, this is getting dangerously close to him being dead himself. If Frase is feeling so inclined, the YOLO Rag is a 50-50 for the win here.
50-50 win condition. Is he going to go for it?
And even if he doesn't get the win, he'll still be at 10 total health.
He'll have a 7-5 and an 8-8 on the board, and his opponent at 15 health.
Yeah.
That's looking really good for Frase.
This isn't even a YOLO Rag. This is just
a play
This is just
rag.
a really good rag. You're guaranteed a win or to clear the board. Or he might even Lothep just for the no, that's a bad idea.
Do it. There we go. All right.
So
Frase pretty much has this game in the bag at this point.
Let's see if
These
he's
two
going to end it right on
legendaries.
this turn. The well played comes out, and
and he
it hits
gets
face. Okay.
Frase with a rag snipe to the face. Gonna take that series to 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, and that Control Warrior has just been doing absolute work for Frase over the past couple days. In the Open Finals yesterday that we streamed here, he went 3-1, I believe, in every series, and his Warrior deck only lost one game.
Yeah.
And it was to Azu Warlock.
And it was in the blind pick stage as well.
Blind pick stage, yeah. So really, really fantastic Warrior play from him.
Yeah, so this is the segment of the match where both players can decide any deck that they want to play. No bans, no eliminations. And it looks like, oh yeah, there we go. Mirror match. Again, I love when this happens. It looks like both Frase and Dart are saying, yeah, I may have lost that game with Zoo, but I'm going to run it again because I think it's strong.
Yeah.
And Frase is saying, yeah, that Warrior deck is my it's my ace, so I'll just run it again. I'm just so consistent with it.
Yeah. I really like that choice, but again, Zoolock, I would say, is favored against Warrior.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be really hard for Warrior to stabilize. You really need good early draws. We saw the Fiery War Axe. Perfect timing, really, from Frey's last game, and we'll have to see if he's going to be able to deal with it again, because I know Dart's going to be wanting some revenge.
Want some revenge. All right. Well, before we get into that game, I mean, it's just time to think about. Actually, I don't know what to think about. We pretty much our analysis. Yeah, think about our lines. Our analysis was so solid in that game that there's really nothing left to say.
Yeah.
I feel like every viewer is leaving the game just a little bit smarter about the Zoo versus Control Warrior matchup.
Yeah.
We can pretty much just take a break in this game.
Yeah. The bad thing is this whole show is scripted.
Oh yeah.
We're reading off of a teleprompter,
Yeah.
so we're not actually having free thoughts whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what talent does. They just read things.
Yeah.
Read things on screens.
How good are you at reading? You're hired.
You got the job. Wow, sending back an abusive sergeant there. Looks like he's digging for some death rattles. Oh, and he gets 2.
Yeah, this is a good curve. Not quite as amazing as that Hunter game that we saw from him earlier, but still a good start. And this is very reminiscent of the start that Frase had last game. The one thing that would make it closer is if he draws into a Fire War Axe on turn 2.
We talked about this yesterday, just the thought of maybe holding on to that Undertaker on turn 1, on turn 2, until you can buff it out of the Fiery War Axe range. But yeah, it looks like Dart is happy to just throw it down. Hope that his opponent doesn't have the Fiery War Axe. Go ahead and drop the. Ooh. I do like the Voidwalker here just to protect against the Fiery War Axe.
Yeah.
It's going to give him another turn to drop that Death Rattle, and that way the Undertaker's going to be out of the range of the axe at 4 health.
But at the same time, you're going to be giving him so much armor from this Voidwalker because you don't have any of those immediate board effects. There's no Soulfire, there's no abusive Sergeant, so no matter what you play, it's going to put you in a rough spot.
One way or another, short of maybe tapping for a Soulfire or something crazy like that, Voidwalker or Creeper, either way, that Armor Smith is going to be able to attack into a one attack minion.
Yeah. I would just execute
the 2/2, yeah.
Execute pass. Well, execute attack pass.
Shield slam for 1 on the Creeper. The dream.
Yes. If you could hit the Creeper with your Armor Smith, then shield slam for 1. Or, well, it'd be 2 at that point.
Genius.
Then execute.
Frase is thinking about it. This is definitely one of the classes you have to really think through every single play you make.
Yeah, you really have to plan ahead, especially against Zoo. You can't just play all your cards willy-nilly. You got to make sure that you have the answers for what you think he's going to play next. That you can put that Zoo in its cage.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. Just execute. Go face with the 1/2.
Yeah.
Not a bad line of play.
Yeah.
I mean, you could consider. No, you can't consider really hitting the 1/2 there. Doesn't really get you anything.
Dart's thinking to himself, what could he possibly
possibly
be thinking
have?
on turn number 2?
Is this life coach? Some topical Hearthstone humor for you. Yeah, he does actually decide to. Nope. There we go.
Yeah, force him to make that trade.
Force him to make that trade.
And he's going to do exactly that.
Yep.
He can even throw out a taunt for good measure here. This is a pretty good turn. Pretty good turn for Dart. And not the greatest of hands for Frase. He hasn't drawn into any of those weapons. Didn't see a Death Spite at all last game.
And shield block could be a good good card here. Just to kind of dig. I mean, oh yeah, okay. We have seen this a lot, by the way. Frase is pretty much any time you see a Direwolf Alpha on the board, he wants to clear it because he recognizes that that is just so much damage over 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, and this is a problem that Dart was suffering from a little bit last game. He's emptying his hand a lot instead of tapping, so he's going to run out of cards pretty quickly in this game, and he's going to be definitely relying on the top decks. Not going to give him as many answers. We'll have to see if that's going to come back to haunt him, though, because he's just playing all the cards as he gets them. Oh, this Death Spite is going to be great. It's going to be able to clear most of the board. Since that Haunter Creeper was played first, its Death Rattle is going to trigger first. So if he hits into that Harvest Golem the next turn with his Death Spite, it'll clear everything on the board. Wow, that Boardwalker is pretty big. It's going to at least protect the Harvest Golem. Yeah.
Did you just play everything?
I don't think you play the Abusive Sergeant.
You're
getting
going
2
into a brawl
damage
turn.
and it's going to die.
Yeah, you're going into a brawl turn as well.
Also, the Death Spite is just going to be able to clear that Abusive Sergeant, so you don't want to just trade 2 damage for nothing.
Yep.
Be like a 2 damage Soulfire for 1 mana.
For 1 mana. All right, so what's he going to do? Definitely just hit that 1/4. Clears off the Gnome, the Creeper.
Everything but the Flame Imp and the Harvest Golem. It's a little bit rough. You're only really clearing 3. Well, actually, you're clearing a whole Haunter Creeper, which can be really sticky, sometimes hard to deal with. So he's going to dig for maybe a little bit better of an answer. Oh, well, no, he can't play that until next turn.
Yeah. You just drop the Armor Smith here?
If he wants to be really, really greedy,
greed is good, man.
He can hold on to the Death Spite and just wait till next turn to play the Armor Smith and the Acolyte. So he can get a card and a bunch of armor. Oh, he's going to do it.
Wow.
I would have just held on to the Armor Smith, too.
Wow. Greed is good.
Well, when you're at 31 health,
yeah, and especially
you could be a little bit greedy.
When you recognize that your opponent has 2 cards in hand. All right.
Those Harvest Columns are annoying.
In this case, though, you can go ahead and just drop the Abusive Sergeant, even though you know it's going to die to Death Bite, and put it on maybe the Leper Gnome and just trade into that Armor Smith. You got to be thinking, it's like, why would he just drop that Armor Smith and pass? What's he thinking?
Maybe he's got 2 Acolytes of Pain.
Oh, man. The dream.
Card draw for days. Wow, and it looks like you and Dart have the same mind.
We do. Geniuses. Absolute Hearthstone geniuses and innovators. All right, now Dart's got to win this match or I look like an idiot. I am Dart, and Dart is me. All
Never thought I'd hear Milk and Hearthstone Innovator in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Well, Fire War Axe. I've seen some next level plays where when you need that Death Rattle, the Death Bite Death Rattle instantly, you just override your Death Bite with the Fire War Axe. It counts as a destroy.
Yep.
I've survived many a Hunter games by doing exactly that.
Yeah.
If I have an Armor Smith on the board and a lot of creatures.
Yeah, and if he didn't have the Void Walker protecting him there, that actually wouldn't have been such a bad play.
Yep.
All right, so there's the tap.
Oh, wow, and that actually didn't interact. The Haunter Creeper was played before or after the Death Bite?
Well, the Haunter Creeper was at 1 health. So the Death Bite passive killed the 1/1.
Gotcha.
Right. I'm not smart enough to realize the whole... I never keep track of in which order they're played in, but I can recognize when a minion has 1 health left, TJ. That is my specialty.
The 1 health specialty.
Yes. I can read the red number to the right.
Charles,
of there.
what would you say is your #1 strength in Hearthstone?
I can read 1.
I'm really great at knowing when minions are at 1 health.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite cards in the game: Elven Archer, Mortal Coil, Spectral Spiders, Whirlwind.
My Mortal McCoil. My Mortal Coil mechanics are on point, man.
Love Mad Bombers as well.
Oh yeah.
Anything that can do 1 damage on demand is
it's the way I play. It's just the way I play. What do you think about a Loatheb here? Oh, that would be brutal for Dart.
Yeah.
5 mana. 5 mana for 4 damage, and you'd have to discard whatever you top deck.
Yeah. This is a terrible brawl, too.
Yeah. Leaves
a 4/4, 2 1/1s, and 2 2/1s.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the board ends up in a better situation after you brawl.
Yeah, because then, right now, Dart's board is full, so he can't even play any more minions. So Dart's like, please brawl.
Man, if only there was if only he like got rid of the Flame Imp or something, then you would pretty much just be able to out armor up every single turn.
Yeah. Probably
Belcher Axe, right?
Yeah, and actually I would even go so far to say, you know what, just go ahead and axe the Haunted Creeper. Getting rid of so much of that value by killing one of the Spectral Spiders instantly.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
So, Death Rattles trigger in the right order so that... Okay, so here's the thing. If you killed that egg and that Haunted Creeper at the same time, and only those two, the 4/4 wouldn't spawn. It'd just be 2 1/1s. Think about that.
No, the egg was played first.
Okay, so you apparently have the ability to remember every single card this entire game.
Well, the Haunted Creeper was played last turn.
Oh, okay.
You can't remember past last turn?
Actually, I could even see the Haunted Creeper at the bottom left side of the card history. Okay, TJ. You're right. I'm sorry. Good Soulfire, though, right here.
Oh, wow. Echoing Ooze is not what he wants to get. A 2-mana 1/2.
A 2-mana 1/2. Although, if a minion dies, then he would get it. He could have actually traded one of his 1/1s in there before Soulfiring. That way he gets a 1/2 instead of a 1/1.
Yeah, he might actually trade the Flame Up just to get that 1/2. Trading a 3/1 for a 1/2.
These are... I don't even think that this sort of thing makes any difference, but it is still really fun for me to think about.
Yeah.
Because I would never in a million years recognize this while I was playing. That's the beauty of casting Hearthstone as opposed to playing it. You're like, you think about everything. You're like a rank 5 legend player. You're like the best in the world when you can see both hands and really stop and think and just criticize people.
Yeah.
All right.
For me, when I'm playing Zoo, the only thing that I pay attention to is the enemy's health total. I think that's the way to play it.
That's the way to play it. Certainly seems like what Dart is doing right now, because he does have Frase down to just 12 health. Oh, and there's the brawl.
Oh, okay, so he can brawl?
Brawl the egg? I'm sorry, hit the egg with axe and then brawl?
You're still leaving 2 1/1s and 2 2/1s.
Yeah, you can maybe
but I guess
save
it's
that
only
brawl
6
for
damage.
a whirlwind.
And whatever's left. I mean, if that 4/4 lives, then that's
brutal.
Absolutely terrible, yeah.
Yeah. Best case seems to be that 1/1 living. All right, here we go. Ding, ding, ding.
But we've seen Frase stabilize from worse than this, so.
Without a doubt. Oh.
Oh!
Wow, and it is the 1/1 living.
That is
best case.
Best case scenario right now. So only 5 damage left on the board. There is nothing that Dart can draw into this turn besides Doomguard, tap, Abusive Sergeant.
The dream.
Or Power Overwhelming.
All right, gets the 2 juggles if he decides to Ironbeak Owl, but he should know at this point that there is at least 1 more Sludge Belcher in that deck.
So he's getting to dangerous health totals here. But, of course, does have that Sludge Belcher, does have the Gromish, does have the Death Spite. Not the greatest card, though.
And the issue here is that if you hit anything but that Undertaker, you're in Soulfire range, unless you armor up.
If he hits the Knife Juggle here and plays the Sledge Belcher, he's dead. Ironbeak Owl's going to come out and he has enough damage on the board. Because even after armoring up, he'd be at 5 health. There's 6 damage on the board. So he doesn't know that. So that'd probably be the best course of action for him to take. And it looks like that's going to be it.
Oh, and armor ups instead of Death Bite, so he is playing around that Soulfire.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. That Ironbeak Owl is going to allow Dart to get that final damage. Leopardome for good measure.
Yeah, you definitely tap for
BM for
here.
good measure.
Tap for BM. Ooh, and it's a Loatheb. It's that interesting deck tech we were talking about earlier. In this case, not going to win him the game, but just the strength of the board already. More than enough to do it.
Hey, this is Milkcast here with another tech deck. Tech deck.
I'm going to start making videos. People will laugh at first, but then they'll realize just how strong my deck building is. Oh, you definitely sacked there.
I will be one of the people that laughs. But it looks like Dart Gonna tie up the series at 2-2 and takes down that Warrior deck. Now, the interesting thing about this tournament format, Frase can go ahead and bring that Warrior deck right back in this blind pick stage.
Mm-hmm. So it's 1-1 in the match so far on that Warrior deck.
Yeah.
2-2 overall. We have seen that in some of the other matches that we've seen throughout the ESL Legendary Series. Sometimes people say it lost, but I think it's the best deck, or I think it's most favorable against their overall field of play. But with Dart tying up the series 2-2, it's going to be kind of on him. He was kind of the underdog. He was hanging on by the skin of his teeth in Game 4 just then.
Yeah.
So the question is, what does he decide to do? He's got the Rogue. It was kind of that interesting, like Cold Light Oracle Rogue. If he runs that into the Zoo, he's going to have a lot of issues. If he runs it in a Warrior, though, I think he might be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, he had some unfortunate draws early on. He was playing against an aggressive deck and just didn't get the draws that he needed to be able to, I guess, clear the board in time against that Zoo. So he might be feeling a little more confident, but I think it's going to be, we should be jumping into a match, and I believe it's going to be Shaman versus Warlock.
Shaman versus Warlock.
Okay.
So that's the Shaman that we saw from, so it's Darts Warlock.
Darts Warlock versus
Frase Shaman.
Frase Shaman. So
yep, there we go.
Frase knowing that Dart's going to go with that Zoolock, knowing that he feels pretty confident in it, choose in the first round, and I would say Shaman. Whoa! The Ancient Mage Shaman.
Whoa! Is this Strife Crow's Shaman deck from IM Shenzhen? The last time I saw a Shaman run Ancient Mage.
Yeah.
With that Violet Teacher, though, that's super interesting. Super interesting choice here from Frase. I have not seen a Shaman deck like this in a very long time.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so probably running a very spell-heavy deck.
Yep.
I believe we did see the Lava Burst earlier, but we
Yep.
didn't get to see much else. We didn't see the Ancient Mage, saw the Violet Teacher, but very interesting deck here. I wonder what spells and creatures he cut for this.
Shaman doesn't have any 0 mana minions, right? Sorry, 0 mana spells.
Well, Totemic Might, isn't that 0 mana?
Oh, yeah, I think it is. But yeah, I'm just thinking about that Violet
Well,
Teacher.
that's not really. We don't have to count that.
Yeah.
That might as well just not be in the game.
Yeah. So we have seen the Miracle Druid coming back into play, and with those Moonfires and things like that, I kind of wonder if maybe that Ancient Mage is a card we're going to see start to get teched in.
Yeah. Well, this is a pretty good opening hand here for Frase. He's got a lot of that early removal. The Blood Mage Thalnos as well. So he's going to be able to clear pretty much anything that Dart's going to be able to throw at him. Even those that Blood Mage Thalnos combined with the Earthshock is a great way to clear like an egg.
Yep.
Like a Nerubian egg.
Yep.
To make your AoE spells stronger.
Yeah, just dropping the Creeper doesn't feel strong, but
I think it does.
It's compared to maybe dropping a 2-attack minion or something like that. But with the cards he's got in hand, he'll definitely be able to start to set something up next turn.
Yeah. The Haunted Creeper is pretty good, and it synergizes really well with the Flame Tongue Totem. He's debating here whether or not he wants to just Lightning Bolt it or play the Haunted Creeper. Haunted Creeper plays to his curve a little bit better because he'd be wasting a mana by playing the Lightning Bolt, whereas next turn he can Totem Lightning Bolt, or he can Flame Tongue Totem Lightning Bolt, or Blood Mage Thalnos Lightning Bolt, which isn't as likely. Or he can Blood Mage Thalnos Earthshock, which is pretty big, which is going to be able to clear that Haunted Creeper. So this is a lot of options for him next turn. He's got a lot of ways to deal with these really annoying early minions coming out from Dart.
Yeah, and I feel like all Frase really has to do here is maximize his damage to the face. All Dart has to do as the Zoo is maximize damage to Frase's face, and kind of secure in the mid game with like the Loatheb drop, and then just set up for that Doomguard or Soulfire to face.
Yeah, this matchup is sort of a race.
Yeah,
because we talked about it a little bit earlier. Shamans just don't have any way to heal. They don't have many ways to stabilize.
Yeah.
And if he's running those Ancient Mages, he's probably not running the Defenders of Argus, which is a great way for Shaman to be able to block damage, usually in the middle of the match or in the later stages of a match. So Right now, though, he's in really great shape. He's got answers in his hand to be able to deal with things still.
I wonder if he wants to Soulfire the
Oh,
totem.
yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It doesn't feel strong. Getting rid of that Lotheb or something against a Shaman of all classes. Even Shaman's minions come from spells like the Spirit Wolves. Not such a good... Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, that's
really
great.
favorable draw there. Being able to keep that Lotheb for the turn after next. Looking good for Dart.
Yeah, I still think even if you discard the Lotheb, it's still worth it. It's not what you want to do, but putting it up to the 50-50, I think is a really good choice.
Yep. And they're the kind of cards that you can really see why he would want to run that Ancient Mage. Frase with stuff like Lava Burst. You know, if he were to drop, if this was turn 8 or 9, and the game was a bit, more progressed and Dart was down to lower health, dropping the Ancient Mage with that Lava Burst would just be crazy amounts of damage to the face.
Yeah.
Oh, and he gets a spell power too, so now he gets to make the choice on whether he wants to clear the Golem or the Creeper, and he goes for the Golem.
Yeah, toteming up here I think is a little bit better choice because it's not going to die instantly, and even if he didn't get the spell power totem there, that wouldn't have changed his line of play whatsoever. He just would have sacked the extra spider in. So saving the Blood Mage Thanos later for a guaranteed on-demand spell power, yeah, that is terrible.
Dart is not happy with that at all. Just the Lotheb.
Yeah.
Lotheb is really your only available option next turn. One of those Doom Guards is getting sent home.
Yeah. Playing a Violet Teacher here on the board with only 2/1/1s feels pretty good.
Yep.
I don't think he really wants the Lightning Storm here. That just doesn't seem like the greatest of value. So Violet Teacher seems like the automatic play.
Yep.
He doesn't want to play too quickly because he does want to take into account, like, hey, what if that Doom Guard comes out next turn, trades into my Violet Teacher. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Hope he doesn't discard the Doom Guard. And he doesn't.
Wow, and he doesn't.
So
the
a little
odds of that. Dart doing a little victory dance.
That's the Dart dance.
The Dart dance. All right, and this is going to leave just the 5/4 on the board because he can freely take that that spell power out.
And now he's got the second Doom Guard in. It's likely that
Dart's not looking up.
Yeah.
Ah, the Lava Burst though. Oh, and this is actually so mana efficient. This is the power of the overload mechanic. Able to get such a big swing. I mean, sure, he's not going to have a turn 7.
Yeah.
He's just going to have 3 or 4 mana to use, but that was huge.
He's definitely okay with discarding that Echoing Ooze.
Yeah.
It's a card that I don't see in Zoo very often.
Yeah. But I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a nice way to recover from when you have no board.
Yeah. Gives you a lot of tokens to be able to just buff up.
Yep.
You know what, Charles? It does make sense.
It does make sense. Dart and I, the innovators of Hearthstone, we know what's up.
Yep.
All right, and this is, again, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, he's just going to clear as much as he can here. He wants to be able to get more value to that Lightning Storm. So just toteming up is definitely the right play. Yep. Because next turn he's going to have an on-demand extra spell power plus the Lightning Storm, so he's guaranteed 3 damage on everything. Ooh, that's not what you want to see. He might even wait. If Dart just holds on to these cards, I wouldn't be surprised if Frase just waits another turn to Lightning Storm. Because he's not getting in any dangerous health ranges.
Still
and he
27.
knows that both Doom Guards have been played and one Soulfire has been played. And Dart is already resorting to life tapping every turn and trying to see what he gets.
Yeah, and this is what Shaman loves to do is just get the good removal, get the good board control, just kind of choke them out from there. So now that they're in this situation, looking really good for Frase.
Yeah, I just don't see how Dart's going to be able to come back and win this. Frase just has so many answers right now. Once a Shaman is able to clear off a lot of those minions, it's smooth sailing from there.
Yep.
They can just peck at you with a Haunter Creeper and you're not going to be able to kill him.
Yep. Could drop the Keeper with the Argus. That would mean that he doesn't need to use his spell power on the Lightning Storm in order to take out that Doom Guard. I mean, we've seen the Lava Burst, we've seen the Ancient Mage. I don't know what other spells Frage could be running in this Shaman deck.
He's got Defender of Argus and Ancient Mages.
Yeah.
This deck is chock full of everything. I'm not sure what he cuts for this.
Yeah. He's got things like the Lightning Bolt, the Lava Burst, the Blood Mage Thanos. Have we seen any Azure Drakes? I don't know. But,
no, but I wonder where he gets that additional card draw. The Blood Mage Thanos is not as reliable of a card draw, and that's something that Shamans suffer from a lot is running out of steam.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of those low-cost removals, but at the same time, once they use all those low-cost removals, if you don't have a way to draw those cards back, it can get really rough for you really quickly.
All right.
Yikes.
Oof. Rough.
Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah, probably just the egg. Maybe go ahead and just silence the Blood Mage. Deny that draw. And that Abusive Sergeant is going to be able to tear through that totem next turn. But does he have an activator for it? Oh, wow. Plays it this turn. Or at least he's thinking about it. I feel like that 4/4 is going to be, especially after all this removal's been dropped. Could be the Lava Burst, though. That's going to shut that 4/4 down.
Yeah. Defender of Argus makes some sense here. Because then you're able to trade into the Owl pretty efficiently here. And, yeah, I don't know what Dart's... I don't think he has anything left in his deck that's going to allow him to come back into this one.
Yeah.
Like we said, both Doom Guards played. One Soulfire already played. How is he going to be able to gain board control back and still find the damage to be able to beat him out? He's got some anti-AoE on the board. But really not going to help him much. He can't even activate his own egg here.
Yeah.
It's only going to take 1 damage. Such a gross sound.
The egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than Belcher, though. Ooh, and that Earth Shock with spell power is going to be able to take out the O2 egg as well, just really choking Dart out of this game.
Yeah. He's counting up just to make sure he doesn't have lethal.
Yeah.
He's pretty far from it.
He's pretty far from it.
It's a lot of spell power, but at the same time, no, it's Blood Mage.
So Lava Burst is doing 8? Oh, yeah, sorry. The
7 damage.
7 damage because the Blood Mage is silenced.
No, 6 damage.
It's 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. 6 damage. 7 damage, though, is huge for a card that costs 3 mana.
Yeah, well, I've had Lava Burst do a lot of damage. I mean, you look at how much spell power you can pack into a Shaman deck. Blood Mage Thanos, double Azure Drake, spell power totem, Ancient Mage, double Ancient Mage,
oh, man.
12 damage Lava Burst to the face.
I believe. The dream is alive. For Frase, at least, not for Dart. Just tapping, hoping he's getting an answer, but I don't think that answer is going to come in this game. Because he not only does he have to clear this kind of taunt wall that Frase has built up, he also has to end up winning the game. How are you going to do that? Power overwhelming.
Forked Lightning?
Forked Lightning? All right, come on, Frase.
This deck has everything.
This guy's deck, pardon me, but it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I played that perfectly.
Man, those 2 cards, though, they're just going to sit in that hand until he has the lethal on board, until he can just go ahead and pop the Lava Burst onto Dart's face. Oh, there's the Forked Lightning, though. It looks like he's comfortable getting the 4/4 down there.
And just cleared out with the Lava Burst.
Cleared out with the Lava Burst.
What else is he going to use that Lava Burst for? He knows that he doesn't really need to put that damage on face. He's at 27 health.
Yeah. It's maybe the only fatigue game I've ever seen in a Zoo deck.
Yeah.
It's a decent draw.
He could just totem up every turn, close his eyes, and play the first card that comes to him in any spot on the board and probably still win from here.
Yeah.
I advise against that.
Yeah, not smart. I have seen some rumblings of Deathwing in Zoo. If there ever was a game to play it, this is it. Sadly, I don't think Dart is one of those.
You know what?
I don't think he's that much of an innovator.
And it would just meet a Hex.
It would just meet a Hex.
And he would kill your minions right now are stronger than his.
All right.
Oh no, Deathwing the Dream, it's still alive.
The Dream is alive.
Yeah.
Dart down to only 11 health.
Yep.
This is just a very slow and brutal way to choke Dart out of this series.
Yep. 3 more damage to himself.
I mean, it's like the cards that Dart are drawing aren't even that bad.
Yeah, but at this point he's lost so much control.
Yeah.
I mean, Zoo, they're so reliant on that momentum that they gain early on. Once they lose board control.
No. I was hoping that would be the salt in Dart's wound, just dropping a lightning storm on this board. Now that he's finally kind of clawing his way back with some of these taunts. I wonder what the last cards of Frase's deck are, like a Doomhammer or something like that. You know, how is he meant to actually just end this game?
Yeah, his win conditions are pretty limited, but of course he has those Ancient Mage Lava Burst, which is a great way to get a little bit of extra damage on the board. I mean, you think about it, like an Alakir or Alakir Flame Tongue is 10 damage, and then you can have a Spell Power Totem and some other totem that gets Ancient Maged. That's a 8 damage Lava Burst, so it's close to a similar win condition like that. And if you have multiple spells, so I think that's how it relies on it. And Azure Drakes.
Is he going to top deck a spell and end it right here?
Wow.
No, the Violet Teacher.
Yeah, very slow and brutal process.
All right, is that game right now? No, he can clear both the 4/4 and the 2/2 off of. I
believe he still has a Soulfire left.
Oh,
that's a little bit better, but he's still got 24 health. What is he gonna do? Unless Dart has some really big surprises in this deck.
The Deathwing Dream.
Or Nuzzdormu.
Nuzzdormu.
Just force Phrase.
He doesn't have the time to click the spells on a Dart's face. Yeah, Dart just not looking happy with the way this game has gone so far.
Going to a tournament against Life Coach, just put Nuzzdormu in every single one of your decks.
Single deck. It's the win condition.
His brain explodes.
It's the definite win condition.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, wow, and a Knife Juggler of his own.
Wait.
This could be it.
I really want to see this deck list,
This could be it.
No. Nope. Oh. Still a pretty good juggle, though.
Yep, not bad
Not a
at
good
all.
juggle there. Dart can't even tap. I don't know what Dart's expecting at this point.
Yeah, really.
Oh, the Dark Iron Dwarf.
Dark
Just
Iron Dwarf,
what he
there
needed.
It is. There it is, but there's no way. There's no way for him to clear all the damage-dealing minions off. Oh, and that is not.
Well, he's going to survive with 1 health, but he can't tap anymore.
Right.
So he's just keeping himself alive. But for what?
But for what? Alex Straza in Zoo.
Was a guaranteed taunt totem, so at least he's expecting a little bit more damage.
Here we go. 1 more damage until Dart gets sent home from the ESL Legendary Series. Oh, and he's going to go ahead and concede.
Alrighty. Well, it looks like Frase is going to take that series 3-2. That was a pretty close one.
And I will say to Dart, if he or anyone else is watching, Frase did make it to the ESL Legendary Series through the open bracket.
Yeah.
So some of these invites who unfortunately get sent home in the first or second round, they can still make it back through the open bracket. If you guys want to sign up for that, just go ahead and go to esl.gg/legendary series. All the sign-up links are up on there. There's a weekly cup every single Sunday. So, you know, hopefully Dart, we see you qualify back in through Open.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, he's still got chances. And, of course, Frase, not only did he go for that whole Open qualifier, but he participated in the Open finals yesterday to secure his spot today and had a lot of impressive performances. So,
yep.
Frase really looking up right now.
And just one more win for Frase, and he's through to next week as well.
Which is, that's a big deal. I mean,
then
that is a really good step towards getting him to that $20,000 land finals that's happening on February 21st and 22nd.
Yep. All right, Team Frase.
Team Frase.
Team Frase.
We're on Team Frase. All right, guys. Well, we are going to have to go to a quick break before we jump into our next match, but we have plenty of ESL Legendary Series Hearthstone action coming at you all day today, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.